Right. Hello, and welcome to this special episode for the Underbase Rewatch podcast. Today, we're not doing the normal theme. We're doing a special episode because obviously it's Halloween in the next few days. We're doing an episode on collecting of Transformers and not the actual generic episodes because I believe the figures are a big part of it. I'm joined by Are Russ.
Hello, nice to be on here.
Yeah, one of the bigger UK creators, because obviously I'm based in the UK. Jazzy might do an episode with a Texan creator. I don't know, many Texas Transformers YouTubers. I think MP Cons is Australian, maybe. We're just gonna have a chat about how collecting is and what people can expect from the coming years, especially with Legacy Evolution kicking us off with the DJD. Do like the good looks of that. What made you start collecting?
I'm really lucky. So, for people who don't know me, first of all, apologies actually at work it's to hand. So, for people who don't know me, and I very cheekily used that handle of my YouTube name, Toys Are Russ. So, which was quite okay at the time because Toys R Us wasn't available in the UK, but now so I'm still going to use it because my name is Russell. Collector, and I was very lucky. Transformers came out, I was literally 1984. I was 5, unfortunately. Yes, so I'm in my 40s, and I was just lucky. I just saw them advertised on the TV, and I think the best thing about Transformers now is it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter how long they've been out. I think as a child, you see something that you think is a car or a dinosaur or whatever, and then it turns into a robot. I just think that's what the appeal is. I think the fact that it just does the basic of things. As I say, the fact that it's two toys in one, really, isn't it? It's two toys in one. So you've got a car and a robot. So I was really lucky that I was there sort of when they first sort of came out. So for me, it was always just about that, just the fact that I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I was instantly attracted to them. Thought they were great.
Yeah, I mean, Transformers as a subject, it's not just cars and robots, is it? You got the Dinobots, you got Motormaster and the Combiners.
So that's it.
It's a wide subject.
You're right. It's so big now. It's huge, isn't it? It's everything. It covers. I mean, you could probably anything. You could. That's one of the best figures I've ever seen. You could probably get. I mean, literally anything. That figure, as I say, is stunning. I know people are saying he's expensive, which he is. You know, that's unfortunately the way things are today. But I think if people actually brought that figure, I think if they held it in their hands, like you got it, and I think for me, it's one of the most amazing transformation processes ever as well. It's so intricate, so clever. It's exactly, and not just the normal transformation and the cab to the robot, but I think the robot to the chest piece for Menasor is just.
I love doing that.
It's just a joy. It's just, I mean, it's. And these things are puzzles as well. They're nice that they're puzzles. When you get that, like you've just said, you're probably the same as satisfaction of doing it and seeing it all click together and just seeing how, like with that, I mean, the little bits at the front of the truck, when they folded up to the side, for me, I was like, that's insane.
I remember, because
I was just like, that's insane.
I went to TFCon, I met you there.
Yeah.
I had not got many figures from there. I'd only got like 8 or 9, which is a lot, but it's like not as much as some of the other people saw. I saw people walking out like full on Sainsbury's bags. I was like, wish I had that money. But I got Motormaster and I got Wild Rider because I said to myself, when I saw Dragstrip, I said, I'm gonna complete a combiner before it's been 5 years, because the only combiner I had was Powder Primed Abominus, which I just got this Christmas, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. I love combiners. But going back to what you said, Transformers can be satisfying, but then they can be absolute horror shows and make you never want to transform them. This is part of the Masterpiece line. I like the Masterpiece line, and I think they look cool. But anything past 36, I will never buy because it's truly, truly terrifying to see how these things work. And my Megatron is dreadfully damaged. Like, not by my own fault either. It's just how it came out of the box.
Do you mean anything past 36 is in the number, or is anything past 36? What do you mean?
Like this is
Just the fact that him, anything released after him.
Anything released after him, I'm
it's
not
quite
going
funny
for.
you should say that. Well, it's funny you should say that because I'm the exact opposite. So again, because when they first come out, I first started purchasing them. I went all the way up to the Datsun cars, so Blue Streaks.
Oh no!
Yes, Blue Streak Prowl and of course Smokescreen. And then that was my sort of point. It's £90, and this is like 2007, 2008, whatever. I don't know, maybe a bit later. Actually, I've said that maybe. And I was like, that's a lot of money, and okay. And then after that, I was like, I think it was. I saw like because I stopped then. I didn't get the grapple and the Inferno, and I didn't get the Ratchet or the Ironhide because they were just silly prices. And I was like, no, they've just gone too much now. But funny enough, as soon as I saw the train bots advertised, I pre-ordered Shuki. He's amazing. But to give myself a sort of a taste again for the Masterpiece line, I brought Skids. And as I say, so I've had a 10-year hiatus. I've had a complete 10-year hiatus of buying no Masters at all. And then so this year, I'm lucky enough to get Skids and Shuki, both of which I think are stunning. So, but I don't intend on getting them all. I intend to get all the train bots, definitely, because I want Raiden. I love Raiden. It's sick.
Masterpiece, it's a great
buy.
I
mean, again, that's the other thing. I mean, MP44 is £400 for the people who don't live in the UK. If for people who don't live in the UK, £400. So with the change rate and with the dollar, I know it's a bit rubbish at the moment, but that's like 500 usually every day of the week. That's how much we get ripped off in the UK. Only bugbearer with, I suppose, anything that we buy in the UK, not just toys, that the fact that they had 20% VAT on everything, then the import charges, and then the customs charges and everything else. So, I mean, I'm not paying. I say hypocritical now for people who know me and have seen my channel. I've got figures way more expensive than £500, but that's because it's a vintage 1987 boxed figure. But for a new figure that they're making currently right now, I can't justify paying £500, especially when they do let's be honest, they update Optimus Prime every 5 years.
Yeah, we had MP1 and then MP3. Then we had MP10 and then MP44. I've got MP10. I think he's wonderful. And I've also got, as I showed earlier, I've got Grimlock. I think these two figures are absolutely amazing. And I've only got, I'll say 7.5 masterpieces. I've got a third-party Power Glide, which I also got at TF Nation. But I've also got Soundwave, Bumblebee, G2 Sideswipe, and Optimus Primal, because I'm a sucker for Optimus Primal. And I love them all. I love them all for what they are. I love Megatron, even though he's got his issues. But I'm more of a mainline dude, to be honest.
I think it's to be the same as me. And again, it's that question of where do you stop. I get asked a lot of time with my collecting, why don't I collect third party? Because as soon as I start collecting third party, where do you stop? And which one do you start with? Because there's, and I'm sure somebody told me, because I hold my hands up and I admit third party is not my forte. I'm sure there's over 90 third party companies. 90. Every single one of them, like, we've all got a favourite character. We've all got characters. We've all got figures that we love. And if you start even just collect one particular figure that you love, like you say, where do you stop? There's too many, and third party are expensive, rightly so, because their quality's amazing. They're made of die cast. Not knocking third party at all. It's just something that I'm quite lucky that I don't collect.
I mean,
because I'm awful. I buy them all.
I wouldn't say I collect them. I mean, if I see a cheap one on eBay, I'll go for it. But I'd rather go for like a £50 deluxe reissue of Siege Spinister than a £30 masterpiece. Because I really need to get a Spinister.
I can't believe all of a sudden he's really rare. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's weird to see how someone who was released so much has become so rare. Like, I go through eBay and I see people charging like hundreds of pounds for a Siege Shockwave, and I'm like, I got that for £40 down at my local shop. It's
exactly, and they've been spotted in game for £10 recently, haven't they?
it's some people. I had
Exactly.
this. I joined Siege really late. I joined when Six Gun had come out, so that's like wave 3. And the only reason I found out of it was by an accidental find of Siege Optimus on Amazon. So I was really far behind. I missed out on loads of figures, and there was only one mainline Decepticon that I didn't have, and that was Soundwave. Since Legacy's come out, they've re-released it. I've managed to get a Siege Soundwave, and now I'm sorted. But like, if you were to look for a Siege Soundwave before Legacy, they were all like hundreds of pounds each, because just eBay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially with that Netflix version.
Well, that's why it's also known as, maybe this is just a generational thing, but a lot of people my sort of age call it Evil Day. For exactly that reason. It is because it's Evil Day. It's, you know, sometimes it's, the thing is, if it's two people bidding against each other, then that it is what it is. You know, you can't. But when you've got people who are putting them up at a, they think it's like you say, buy it now, £100. That's not £100 figure. Are you kidding? It's not £100 figure. It's a £45 figure. And you look, but the problem is people sometimes. So what I always do with eBay is I always, when I'm searching for something, I always check feed, and I say this to a lot of people because some people don't realise you can do it. You can change the filter to sold and see what they're actually selling for. It gives you an idea of what they're worth and selling for. Because again, some people are just pluck a number out of the sky and like, yeah, it's worth this, and then they wonder why it's sitting there for 6 months or whatever, because it won't sell for that price. And I think at the moment, as you just said, Soundwave's a brilliant example. So you've got, so since Siege Soundwave, what have you got? You've got Siege Soundwave, Sound Blaster back. Then you've got the 5-year anniversary versions of them. Then you've got the legacy versions of them. Then you've got the Netflix versions of them. So in the space of 4 years, you've got six Soundwaves. Never mind the core class versions that have just come out as well.
I love the core class. I mean,
core's amazing. I love the core.
They're so cute. I mean, Soundwave's a bit flimsy, but oh my god, I was going to meet up with some friends one day, and I had some extra money, and I went into a store and I saw Shockwave for £7. Bearing in mind, I had the Combiner Wars version, but he's look at that.
Mint.
Who's wobbling more? I know that's probably just because of how decayed my Megatron is. I mean, half his feet paint's gone. But these little core classes...
Is your Megatron... But I don't mean to be rude when I'm saying this. Is your Megatron an official Takara one, or is it one of the top ones?
Yeah, he's official. I mean, I did get him off eBay, but like... I did so much to fix him, but he just gets worse every day. Like this.
Because I've only heard of that being a problem on the knockoff ones, to be honest.
I mean, he does come with the printed Decepticon logo, and he was in the official Takara box. He's... I'm going to say he's...
But they all come in the Takara boxes, don't they?
Yeah, I have the Takara... I've only got 2 third-party masterpieces, and that's Soundwave, who is still better than Megatron, and then that Power Guide you saw me buy at TF Nation, who I don't really... I love the cars, and I love the tanks and that, but there's something about transforming planes, like Jetfire, the planes just hit so much better. Like, they can be so much more. And with the Siege Tetrajets, I got this guy a few weeks ago. He's way better than Starscream because he's got a better colour scheme, but his jet mode's amazing. And they hold up way better.
Which one was that? Was it Hotlink?
Yeah, because I can't afford a Thundercracker. Not Thundercracker.
Maybe. No, it's not that. Yeah, I can't either. We're on the same team, mate. Don't worry. Again, ridiculous.
I don't have a Thundercracker either, though. I don't really... I like repaints if they're someone different. So I've got Deep Cover over there with G2 Sideswipe as well. They're the same mold, but they're different people. I'm okay with that. Yeah. But if I'm going through and I see a Siege Optimus Prime, and then I see the Shells shaded version, I'm not getting both. I'm getting one. Like, I'm okay if it's either a new mold or a different character, but I can't.
I used to be like that. Again, if you've seen my videos, you'll see that from that Sideswipe mold alone. So I've got Siege Red Alert, Siege Sideswipe, Netflix Red Alert, Kingdom Red Alert, Kingdom Sideswipe, both deep covers, Tiger Track. I think I've got 9. I think there's 9 uses of that mold in the space of the 3 years, and I think I've got them all. So I'm terrible. I'm awful for that.
I'm trying to think. If you've missed one,
I did it on a video. Not so long ago, and I put them all up.
Sideswipe? You haven't got G2 Sideswipe.
Oh, I've got G2 Sideswipe as well. Yeah, I've got G2 Sideswipe and Gigawatt's the same mold, just different. The Back to the Future.
That figure seems alright to me, but I don't go into exclusives. The only exclusives I've been into is the Generation Selects at the moment. I bought the two Diaclone dudes, DK2 and Lift Ticket. I got those.
Nice.
I found a £100 Black Zarak, and I love the Titans. Like, I'm after a Scorponok. But I was like, the Generation Selects are great. I don't have enough room for Black Zarak, so I'll stick with me Deluxes and me Voyagers for that. That's it.
You're missing a trick. Black Zarak at the moment for me.
Maybe when
spoiler alert for my video at the end of the year. At the moment, he's number one of the year, and I bought loads this year.
That's going to be the first video on my separate channel. I do have a separate channel. I told you I recorded for TF Nation, then found out I don't have the storage on my phone to re-download the edited video. But for this year, I'm going to do my first video of top 10 for 2022 and my expectations for 2023, because we got leaked for Legacy Evolution, didn't we? We're getting new, weaponizer Junkion type things. We've got Tarn.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else. Leo Convoy. So we're getting Beast Wars 2.
Leo Prime. It is Convoy, but Hasbro was saying that. Again, I did a video yesterday explaining that Hasbro are only allowed to license. They call him Prime because Convoy's painted to Japan. So whenever you see them in the boxes in a Hasbro box, it'll be Prime. If it's in the Japanese or it's Kara box, it'll be Convoy.
That makes perfect sense, to be honest. Just trying, because there's been so many cool things that have come out, but there's a load of exclusive recolors. And that, we had the Siege Netflix line, didn't we, where you could get some of your favourite figures, but they ran through a puddle of mud on the way to the store. And you could get, exclusives of Nemesis, you could get that Deluxe Bumblebee or the Soundwave. And they're the main culprits for, reissues that need to happen. They're reissuing Siege Jetfire, and they're doing Shattered Glass Soundwave. But some people may not want a Shattered Glass version, you know what I mean? It's just...
Yeah.
Some people...
Again, I think Shattered Glass is another little niche. I love Shattered Glass, to be honest. I've got the original Shattered Glass Soundwave, so lucky enough to have that. But yeah.
I think...
with the G1 mold.
I'm trying to think of a Shattered Glass I actually like. I like the Jetfire. I'm a sucker for Jetfire at the moment.
Yeah.
That purple and black colour scheme. It's just... But I don't really understand where they've gone with the Shattered Glass, because in the original cartoon, he's coloured like an Autobot, isn't he? So, to be honest, maybe if Jetfire was originally coloured like a Decepticon, it'd fit in. But, Shattered Glass Jetfire just looks evil. It doesn't fit.
Well, that's it, innit? Shattered Glass is just literally the alternate universe. So, as I say, the paint schemes are just what they want to pick, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I love the comics that came with them. I've read a load of stuff about the comics. But there's a thing that I think maybe started with Shattered Glass Magnus with the alternate heads. I don't really like that gimmick. Unscrewing your figure's head to switch it out. I mean... You
don't need to unscrew it just pops off.
Does it? I thought with Magnus...
Just pops off.
I thought with Magnus you had to unscrew it and that.
Just literally pop it off. Same with Ransack. Same with it. They just literally pop on and off. Literally, they pull off. They're on mushrooms, ball and sockets. They just pop off.
Ooh. I'm just grabbing one for an example.
Again, I did it on my video.
Oh, he does! Ball joint. I didn't notice that. I don't like Scorponok, to be honest. I think he's a bit of a loose mess. He doesn't sit right for me. The Beast Wars characters from Kingdom are really good, though, most of them. I only don't have Rhinox, because... and then all the Predacons I've skipped out on. Would have loved Megatron, though.
Okay.
I mean, it's also weird when it comes to size classes nowadays. Everyone's having a price hike, isn't it? So they're having exclusives along with price hikes. So nowadays you're paying £110 for a Motormaster, which is justified for Motormaster. I mean, he's a combiner, But when you could get like Jetfire or Skylinks for the same price, and then here comes Rodimus Prime. I mean, I have Rodimus, he's great, but it didn't sit well for me when buying him until he went down to about 40 quid.
I think the reason that obviously gave for that is, of course, the engineering to it, because again, the transformation process is incredibly complex. But you on that, you're paying the majority of the money for a trailer, and people. When you need Rodimus's trailer, you're not going to use Rodimus's like obviously for everybody else. You know, for Magnus, you need the trailer because it's part of him. For Motormaster, you need the trailer because it's Venusaur. But for Rodimus, it was just a little bit. I don't know. There'll be other people who'll argue with me, obviously.
The trailer park I've got Earthrise, Nemesis, Rodimus, Masterpiece, and the original Dark of the Moon, which I don't know where the Optimus has gone for that, but it's gone somewhere. And the only trailer I truly enjoy having is Venusaur's, and obviously you've got Ultra Magnus. He's always in his trailer, so there's no point not having it with him.
Exactly.
Thinking of Magnus has had a good little run, hasn't he? They had Siege Magnus, Galaxy Upgrade Prime, Earthrise, Kingdom Magnus, and then you got Shattered Glass, and that weird exclusive Optimus that came out that was just a remold with that stand. You go through.
That's it.
I'm trying to think. There's only one mold I can see around my room that wasn't reused, and that's Wingfinger. Oh no, obviously Skylinks as well, but other than that, there's no mold I can't see a remold of happening.
I think that's what they do, unfortunately. The thing is, well, what makes me laugh is when people say, "Oh, it's all new; they shouldn't do it." And the whole, even before known as Transformers, when they were Diaclones, when they were Microman and Microchange in the early '80s, so before they were even actually known as Transformers, that's all they've ever done. They released four different versions of what we call Trailbreaker. They had obviously all the Seeker Jets, so there's probably more than that. There's 4 colours of skids. There's Burnout. They've always done it. I've got the Diaclone books at home. I've seen the adverts. They've always done it. The Seeker Jets are all exactly the same, so it's nothing new. It is clever, and as you say, sometimes you can justify, like you've just said, if it's a different character. Like if you've got Sideswipe and Burnout, it's a different character. Clampdown's the other one, of course. There's another one.
The Speedier line. That line's great. I mean, I went to go get Cosmos with a friend. That was one of the hardest days to live in my life because we biked my house from town, like the town where I buy stuff, is about 30 minutes to an hour to get there. So we went in and there was 10 Cosmoses, and then by the time I got to the till, there was 4. So they went and got me one. I bought him, and I thought, "Oh, this is great." And then my bike seat came off, so I had to get picked up. But like that figure is so awesome, and I love him. But no one can get him because he's an exclusive. Same with
I think again, I don't know. I did a video 2 days ago, and there's about 42 Cosmoses, and that's not an exaggeration. There's 4 shelves of Cosmos in my Smiths, and I put it on my video, and I showed everybody. I sent 8 to it already via my channel, by leaving me messages and joining my memberships. They can contact me directly. I've sent 8 personally. In my Smiths alone, there's reams of them. Reams. It's weird.
Honestly, do some charity work, buy them and sell them on eBay.
But then again, I don't want to be a scalper. I just don't need. I've got like who's now a channel member, access to my personal Discord, which is what we're talking on. Which is so anybody who joins my channel member getting what we've got, not just the fact that they can reach me privately, and I've sent, and you've seen comments I've sent to New Mexico, to Australia, to everywhere. People have worked out that it's still cheaper to go and buy one for £25 with £18 shipping, send it to America. It's still cheaper than a scalper price. So
you are literally
that's what I've been doing. That's literally what I've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, my friend Dev, he's part of a little group I got going for a TikTok series. He sent me a message saying, "Hey, can you get me a Cosmos?" I said, "Bro, I would love to, but I can't even tell if they're there anymore because on the Smiths website it just didn't tell me. It was like in stock. I was like, how many's in stock? And it just wouldn't say. and I couldn't just
Right.
go in and go look, because if they weren't there, then I'd have to go all the way home, explain to him that they're not there, and he'd have to spend the money anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to help my mates out, get them a Cosmos here and there, because obviously everyone wants Cosmos. I know I was looking into third-party Cosmoses just before he was announced. But then, obviously, you got that one.
It's one of the strange things that I just don't, and I don't ever understand. I mean, obviously, you've seen pictures of some people have got Velocitron too. They've had them now for well over a month. They've had Crash, had Shadow Strip for well over a month. They've been a feast yet. It's like, all right, okay, but they've got them, and they're not just they're official figures.
I don't even know if they were announced. Did you say they were announced?
Just appeared in a shop, New Zealand, literally.
Not too far from me. Might have a quick look on the internet. There's something going on at Hasbro. I know this is gonna like. I don't know what's happening, but people are like releasing like info sheets, aren't they? Like we know about stuff before it's even announced, which I think is really rude to do to Hasbro.
So I do. Yeah, it's not Hasbro employees.
No.
People who work. It's a guy, and you know, the problem is he doing something wrong? In some ways, you're probably thinking the same as me, that it sort of spoils the surprise. It actually is he has the product numbers and the product codes as they appear on the system. I can't remember where he works, if it's a Walmart or a Target. And yes, as soon as you find a code and numbers, that's it. We know that particular figure is coming. We know that particular figure, unfortunately, most of the time is coming before we know anything about it. So, in some ways, it spoils it.
When it comes to spoiling figures, there's a certain part of YouTube, isn't there, that kind of gives it away. I mean, I've seen reviews for Armada Starscream and the Junkion that's meant to come out next year. Just don't understand how people get these things anymore. I mean, hook me up. I want a Junkion.
It's completely. I think it's of course with it. I don't want to sound like I'm a bitter and twisted YouTuber, because where they're put it, the day and end all is that what these YouTubers are getting. I don't want to. Again, I didn't even really want to go. It's a stolen product. It's a stolen product coming from there. 90% of the time, the boxes aren't there, so it's from a factory. And people have worked this out and tried to challenge it. And I think that's sad, really. I mean, that's for me. I've ever been off it, I wouldn't accept it was, but like usually I don't even comment on that, because it's so far from anything that I do. I say it on the beginning of my videos. I brought this robot recruits, brought the eBay wherever. Like you said, the big it's just frustrating, because a lot of the time it's a figure that isn't going to be out for ages, and it does. I don't care anything, it spoils it, because especially now they do things like Fans First Tuesdays and all that sort of stuff.
I like
the Pulse Cons. There's nothing. I love them. I think they're amazing, but there's nothing worse than when they go, "Oh, we've got an exclusive for you." Exactly like you've just said. Well, actually, I've seen a review on that already. So
yeah, this is the new Tarn we're getting. It won't come out till next December. Oh, I've seen about 6 reviews on that now. Thank you. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
I
think it's perhaps.
I'm trying to think. What was the last?
It's somebody's job, not ours. It's somebody's job, not ours, to just. I don't know. I'm not shut them, because again, it's bitter and twisted, which I'm not at all. It's a case of if you let them get away with doing something for long enough, they'll just keep on doing it. So probably in their mind, I think they're doing anything wrong, because they've been doing it for so long, and they've been getting away with it. So no one's stopping. So,
I mean, when people hear about figures being like reviewed before, there's the same people who come up, and I feel really bad, because like maybe they are getting them through actual means, but we just can't tell. Like, have you heard of MGO?
Yes.
MGO.
For the people who. What were you going to say? Carry on. Go what?
Mgo, he's such a sweet-hearted person. And I've watched his videos from a kid, and I used to watch his Transformers Prime videos and that. I'll see a review for a figure, and it'll come out 6 months before Mgo gets it. And I know Mgo pre-orders them, and he gets them when they've been sent through the pre-order. So, to be honest, I'm not like biased or anything, but I base my like thoughts and opinions off reviewers who I know have got them genuinely. That's why I watch you, Thew, and Mgo, because I know you lot just don't walk into a Hasbro factory and nick them all off and run.
No, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? And that's a lot of comments on that. I get a lot of people saying exactly what you've just said. And it's. I mean, the reason why they do it is because the money. I mean, if you think, I would say that on a video that gets 40,000 views, they're making a few hundred on that video alone. So you can see why people do it. And as I say, I think because you pay people for making videos, I think it's just it's somebody needs to sort of stop it, and it's not for me. It's nothing I can't do or say anything. Just little me. Same as yourself. People who watch it's people watch it. If people watch it, and they're encouraging. So as long as people watch it, I know that. Funny enough, I've heard, and because I'm quite new to this, people have sent me links to videos where people have been calling them out, etc., etc. And people always ask. I've seen comments where people said, "Where have you got this from?" and they just delete it, completely ignore it. So
yeah,
like you say, if you something like anybody can make. And again, I've got figures that this sounds really figures that I actually physically can't afford, but I've been lucky enough that I've found a seller who's trusted me. Right, I'm going to hold on to it for you. You can pay me in installments, and that's how I've had to fund some of the figures that I want. But I admit that I'm obviously on that. Anybody around the world can watch this if they want, and I say it on my channel. I'm lucky that I've got people who trust me to do that, because some figures now expensive. I can't afford the figures. Some of the figures are 3 figures. Literally, So for me, just normal working guy, I'm at work. I can't afford to spend £1,000 on a figure. If you give me a year to save it, and I 5 figures, or I do bits and overtime, then I can pay you off. It's just always tell people when people when people hide things, or they hide where they've got it from, or they're not willing to disclose any information in regards to any subject, then it's always usually negative reasons, isn't it? Again, it's hard. Like if you pick that up, no. Like, it's always it spuns to that. But I suppose it's always be there because for the reasons we've just said, nobody cracks down on it. So until people crack it, whether it be Hasbro, Takara, or YouTube, or people just vote with their voice and just say unsubscribe and don't watch it.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I don't genuinely support many creators in that way. I've met a few. I've met you, Thew, and I met some other people at TF Nation too. That rhymed. But I've generally spoke to a lot of like decently big, well-known people, and there's only one singular person, and I'm not going to name it because I don't want to get like doxxed or anything, who has generally never told me where he gets his figures from. He's the only person who I know who's based in this country, and he's never once told me where he gets his figures from.
There you go. See, and again, why would you hide it? As you say, why would you hide it? I get all my newer figures from Robot Recruits. If Robot Recruits can't come in, if they're like exclusives like Smiths, I'll go and buy them from Smiths. Or if the Target exclusives, which I can't get over here, I get them from In Demand, because In Demand, I mean, sometimes from Kapow. But mainly that's, and again, at the very beginning of the video, thank you to whoever purchased this from me. Sometimes thank you to the eBay who I brought this off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I remember watching your TF Nation video, and I went round like 6 different times. I kept going. I was like, should I buy that? And I saw that Combiner Wars Spinister you got. So even if you didn't say that, there would be loads of people who were there who saw that Spinister and would be like, yeah, he got that from there. Even I could say it, because I saw someone pick it up. I was like, I've never seen that before. And then you showed it in your video. I was like, I've seen that before.
It's the collector's club version.
Yeah. It was really cool. There was so much good stuff at TF Nation, honestly. Like when growing up as a kid who likes Transformers, for me personally, there wasn't many people who enjoyed it. I've only met like one person who truly enjoyed it, and wasn't a very normal person. Wasn't mentally good with it. There's the creepier side of Transformers fans. He was on that side, so I don't really speak to him much. But going around there,
Right.
knowing that everyone there has a similar interest to you was amazing. Because I had picked up this bag of a full of Cybertron kickback, and I was looking, and this one dude came up to me and said, "If you want to know what that's like, go talk to me brother." I had a chat with his brother, and I decided not to pick it up because he said what it's like. So there's no one there who you can't speak to. I mean, I don't think I told you this, but that me and you were at a load of boxes, and there was this dude behind us who was looking for fembots, wasn't he? I don't remember his name. He had some tattoos.
Because heroes always have to fembots.
Yeah, I walked over and kept chatting to him, and he asked me if I was like related to you, and I was like, no. I met him in the car park, and my mum and I had a chat with him. But it's just funny to see how everyone knows what they're saying. Everyone can understand what you're saying, and you can get some cheeky deals. Like I had little money left. I only had like £20 left, and someone was selling an Astro Train for 35, and he scuffed it off for me, and I've got an Astro Train now. I love Astro. I love triple changes in general. I'm a big sucker for a triple changer because they're more puzzly and they're more complex. Not as worse as Masterpiece. What in general is your favourite toy line?
Favourite toy? I'm very biased to G1 purely because that was what I remember as being a kid. And as I say, so whatever your generation one will be different to mine. Your generation one could be whatever you've got the fondest memories of being a kid.
My
this is the best thing about
generation one is generation one. I remember.
Which, as I say,
was great because as a kid, obviously, my mum. I don't know how I got into it. I'll never know how I got into it because my mum doesn't remember. But the first figure I remember, because I was born the year before the Transformers 1 movie came out, I remember having the exclusive blue Optimus Prime leader, ripping it to shreds and not having another figure for a few years. But I used to just sit at the table and watch G1 all the time because it's just, that's how I grew up.
I always, it's got to be G1. I think some of the figures, some of the new lines have been absolutely amazing, to be fair. Like I say, Siege for me was funny because I wasn't going to collect all them because I pretty much space. And I was like, I don't need enough Hound, Sideswipe, and as I say, I've obviously gone and brought them all anyway. But I appreciate them. But I like things like some of these ones, like the WSTs, the World's Smallest Transformers, the car exclusives from 2003. Purely because the same. Like, I've got a Megatron that big, and he's got exactly the same transformation process as the G1 figure, and he's that big. And it's just again, I suppose the engine that goes into figures is what blows my mind.
And engineering for figures is getting so much better. Like, we look back, maybe I'm trying to see like an older. Here we go. We look back at Energon and that. I never watched Energon, but you can tell what he turns into, can't you? He turns into an eagle. He transforms within like 5 steps, and he doesn't do well at hiding kibble. But then again, I'm gonna keep going back to this because this is pure amazingness. Motormaster. You could only tell he turns into a truck, couldn't you? With these, you wouldn't be able to tell he turns into this big heaping Goliath of a combiner, unless you.
This is what I keep saying to people because I've had people again comment on my videos saying that it's too much, and I'm like, I'm not saying I agree with the price. I'm just saying that when you get it, you'll understand why it is. That's what I say to people. I say, look, we're all different. Can afford, and there's some things that we're going to be able to get for that reason. But the thing is, I justify that when I brought that figure, it's because what you get for it. It's an engineering masterpiece. It's weighty, it's chunky, it's robust, and as you say, it's going to be a Menasor figure that's that big. So
I was talking to Jazzy, who's obviously the creator of this podcast, and I said to him, I am not like fussed that Menasor is going to be just Menasor, Motormaster, and then 2 sets of repaints, because that's what you got to do, innit? That's what you got to do for the combiner, because if one's different to the other, it won't work the same for symmetry. But I remember when Dead End was really revealed, I was like, oh, he's just a redo of Dragstrip. I bet you Breakdown's going to be the exact same. Breakdown comes around, he's the exact same. I don't care. I mean, I don't really like the Wild Rider mold. It's a bit weird for me. I do definitely prefer the Dragstrip. But I'm still going to get it because it's worth it, and I get a full combiner for the price of probably maybe £200 when it was way worse back in Combiner Wars because they weren't as good.
Agreed.
They had those
Agreed.
little crawly hands.
Yeah. They weren't as good, as I say. The quality now is way better. Quality and the standards are way better.
You're paying for your quality. You're not paying for the figure itself. You're paying for the quality. Like, £7 for this is pure awesomeness. Like, sure, everything's getting smaller, or it's getting bigger, and it's getting worse. Like, people nowadays are like, they're thinking of the pricing as in, you're getting like a Cyberverse figure for £200 or something. But you're not, are you? People complained about Unicron, he was too much, but he's huge. He's a planet. Oh, you've gone. Oh, you're back. He was a planet.
It's alright, I just realised the time, that's all. Okay.
Oh, what time is it?
Yeah, Unicron's huge, but again, I'm lucky enough that I've got them, and it's insane. And I've used that word a lot, and I use it a lot at the moment. It's 30 inches.
I know.
And it's 15 kilos.
I think he was 2.
He's probably 2. He's probably 2 metal at least. I'll try a comparison video to show you.
I know he's.
Yeah,
he's 2'7", I think, because I made a joke to my friend that he was 2 Hasbro Unicrons stacked on each other because he was 4'5". But it's amazing because they're doing all this. They're spending all this money to make good figures, and when it comes to HasLab, I've got Star Saber coming. I can't wait because I know he is going to be good. He's not going to wear down. He's not going to yellow. He's not going to disintegrate because they've spent so much money to make him.
Yeah.
And also, if it's just my copy, I'm not going to be happy.
Star Saber's going to be amazing. I can't wait for him. Purely because I just love Japanese.
Yeah.
Transfers.
You get a Commander, a Deluxe, and a Voyager, all for the price of Motormaster. Not Motormaster.
I said video. I said that. I said at the time, everybody's looking at it and saying, what? But now, for exactly what you just said, when you break it down, you get the Micromasters, you get the stand, you get all the blaster. Victory Leo is a definite leader class. Stars combined is a definite commander class.
I do
and as
know
you say,
the
this
size
is a looks.
I don't think
the only thing that annoys me of the new HasLab is that it is, and this will probably surprise you, is that it is way smaller than the G1 original. Way smaller, like a lot smaller.
Yeah, I don't have.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing. I still can't wait for them, and I'm really excited. I can't wait for them.
If my eye's not deceiving, I saw like a prototype next to Kingdom Magnus. This is going to be the size of Star Saber on his own. Then obviously he's got the chunk on the bottom that makes him a bit taller. So he's going to be about half, maybe 3/4 the size of the Jetfire just on his own.
12 inches. 12 inches combined, isn't it?
12 inches. That's a whole foot.
I think so. I need to check.
That is a fact.
But the original Star Saber, Victory Saber, is about 18 inches. It's huge. He towers above Spinnock. He towers above Overlord. The only figure in G1 obviously is Fortress Maximus. He's about 2.5 Minotaurs, the original one. He's huge. Again, check out the videos on my channel. I've done about 8 on him because everybody keeps asking who he is.
I saw this. I watched Jobby a lot. Jobby's a really good YouTuber as well. He did a review on a third-party head for Fortress Maximus, and that Fortress Maximus is apparently 2.5 Unicrons. That I don't believe.
That's the fans' hobby. They built the body, yeah. They built the head. They're trying to. It's called the fans' hobby version. If they do it, it's going to be it's going to be huge. Same as Davis. Davis is going to be bigger Fortress Maximus, made by Toys, which is their take on Metroplex. And they made him. I've got a video of him again. He's like 4.5 tall.
I think I know which one you're on about. That Metroplex. To be honest, I might just buy it just to have, because it could fit in as a human. If you were to take it abroad, you'd have to pay for a plane ticket. It's such a beautiful thing. That's the part of third party I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And the legend scale third parties, they're really cool. Like Iron Factory and I can't think of any. Magic Cube. They're really good.
That's it. There's loads of it.
That's genuine.
Right, this has been good chatting to you anyway.
Yeah, that's what collecting is.
Yeah.
If anyone has any like genuine concerned about collecting figures, just go look at Toys R Us's channel. He's got every figure under the moon and probably 10 repaints of it. This has been a fun episode. I think this is going to be one of the better ones we've made because Jazzy's not here. No, I'm kidding. Jazzy's great as well. I'm very glad we had you here, and this has been a very fun episode. Hope maybe in the future we'll have you again for another spooky special.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so everyone go subscribe to Toys R Us. We'll put his link down in the description. If we don't, I'll post it in the comments like 10 times. Yeah.
Lovely.
Stay collecting and make sure to come
Thanks
back.
for having me. Yeah, exactly. Everybody should just do exactly that. Just literally enjoy it. Best thing about it is, as you say, I mean, and I'm not saying this in a disrespectful or rude myself, obviously, Archie, I'm probably 3 times my age, still collecting Transformers, and that's right. And the thing is, they're always going to be here, so just enjoy it. They're great. And again, thanks for having me on here.
I mean, if Transformers ever dies, man, it's too early for it to die. I'm really glad I had the courage to ask you to come on, because to be honest, I'm not the most confident person in the world. But this you did
really good, don't you? Right.
Yeah, this has been the Underbase, and I hope everyone watching has a good evening.